overseas, music, it is not trivial to require DNA. Harry's biological father's identity cannot remain a secret. Hello everyone, and welcome once more to Kate Middleton and the Queen Channel. And what about that? Today's conundrum will soon be addressed, allowing for the full disclosure of Harry's biological father's identity. Well, it all started with a post by royal expert Benjamin, who claimed that Harry's resentment is due to the fact that this issue will not go away. William is the target of Harry and Meghan's constant attempts to harm him, but Harry is now unable to ignore the issue of who his real father is. We couldn't help but observe that the royals now appear to be adopting a new position on this. They appear to be siding with journalists who are posing the difficult questions. Originally, the palace attempted to pretend that Diana met James Hewitt a few years after Harry was born. James Hewitt allegedly met Diana 2 years before Harry was born, according to a report on UK television. We already know that James Hewitt's own father was persuaded that his son was the real father of Harry. We all recall Charles telling Diana, "Oh God, and he's got ginger hair personally," after Harry was born. Who Harry's biological father is doesn't seem to matter all that much, but it's clear that it upsets him. Diana wasn't naturally blonde. Pictures of her as a young kid in various books show her as blonde when she was very small, but by the time she was a teen, her hair had turned auburn. Mr. Benjamin's post is brief, clear, and filled with a ton of subliminal meanings. There are laboratories all throughout the world that provide DNA testing, if Harry is interested. In fact, I'm confident you could complete it without disclosing the source of the samples. It might be a little more expensive, but in any case, it appears that Harry isn't really interested in finding out. This is because if Harry learns that he isn't really Charles's son, well, he won't have any titles, he won't be able to complain until a bunch of lies about his alleged family are told to him, and he won't ever have any claim to any royal money if Harry knew that Charles wasn't his biological father. What is the likelihood that Harry will agree to give up his meal ticket? There is undoubtedly a lot of chaos surrounding this situation, and as I've previously stated, although I don't always notice Charles's features in Harry's face, if I pay attention, I can make out Hewitt's. The following things do make a lot of sense if you assume that Harry is a Hewitt, which would explain why Charles seemed a little uninterested when Harry was born as a boy with ginger hair. Harry's hatred of his family may be explained by Diana's phone call to James Hewitt from the hospital after Harry was born. But boy, that doesn't make Diana look good because it suggests that she cheated, got pregnant, and then lied to Charles by telling him she was having a girl, even though that part is actually true, and Charles ended up looking bad because it implied that he wasn't interested in Harry. Now there is a story that I've heard that James Hewitt's father actually left his signet ring to Harry to be given to him when he turned 18, and then when the police broke into Paul Burrell's home and ransacked it, the first thing they were looking for according to Burrell was that ring. The police were not able to find the ring and Charles had pressed charges against Burrell. So why do you think that could have been? What exactly did Diana's sisters tell Charles about? Could they have betrayed Diana's confidence on this matter? And it is pretty interesting that Her late Majesty all of a sudden recalled the conversation that she said she had with Popular about his being a caretaker of Diana's mementos. Wherever you may stand on this issue, you gotta admit it's weird how the charges against Paul Burrell were all of a sudden dropped. Could it be that he threatened to tell the truth? Could that have been a risk the House of Windsor simply could not afford to take, since Diana's death was still incredibly fresh legally? Charles is always going to be Harry's father. Nothing is going to change that unless he were to disown him, but I don't think he would do that. Apparently Prince Philip also gave Charles the advice to say that he was indeed Harry's father, which Charles did, but apparently Harry's biological father could be another matter altogether. There are some people who claim he could in fact be Philip's son. Yeah, I know I told you all this whole issue is incredibly chaotic and incredibly messy, but anyway, there is a good reason to talk about this matter now. Let's not forget the only reason the Windsors occupy the throne today is because the Spencers got their earldom for masterminding the treason, this revolution that deposed James II by claiming his legitimate issue was a changeling and therefore a crime of treason against the people requiring immediate abdication. So if Charles knows that he's not Harry's bio father and he claims to be his bio father, then he would be guilty of interfering with the line of succession, and that is officially an act of high treason and is also a violation of the coronation oath, another act of high treason, so that would mean that he and his line including William would be removed. So I do believe Charles would not want to have made it public if Harry were not really his son. He already had his heir and he was probably desperate at the time to break ties with Diana, and that is more than enough for the future king to tell you the truth. Though friends, I find talking about this topic to be exhausting, and I'm almost sick of it. Harry has done more than enough to harm his late mother, and if the rumor is accurate, it will destroy Diana's legacy.